going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pull-Up Experience. Guys, we have another great edition with you guys today, and we have my mentor, by the way. You know, that's right. Listen, we have a powerhouse in the real estate game, hands down, just a serial entrepreneur, not a entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, and a phenomenal overall person. We got Miss Sharon Padgett with us today, guys. So I want you guys to welcome her with open arms.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Then we got Miss Brittany with us today, y'all. Y'all already know who I am. We got Steve behind the camera. See, I know it's gonna be a good time. Gonna be looking good, by the way. So, also, this episode is brought to you by 2U Wines, guys. The best wine in the world.
We'll talk about the books that you guys see a little later. So
Yes,
stay tuned.
absolutely. So, everyone know I start every episode will represent what hood you. If you had to say there's a part of Cleveland that you call home, what part of Cleveland would that be?
Down the way.
Down the way. Oh,
Down the way. Unwin Road.
okay, and listen, for everybody who's not from Cleveland, there's up the way and down the way to Cleveland, right?
Down the way.
That's how you know somebody from Cleveland say up the way, down the way. You like, oh, you from Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. With that being said, so growing up, was entrepreneurship always something that was just came easy to you, or was something that you were born into? Like, where did the entrepreneur spirit first like align with you?
Entrepreneur, growing up, it was always a vision. I went to school, high school, at South High, and I did cosmetology.
Oh, yeah.
So I always knew I wanted to be a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
But my direction went in a different direction the older I got.
Okay.
I said I want to, have a bachelor's degree and own my own beauty salon.
Mhm.
I didn't want to actually do hair, I want to just own it. I wanted to be the owner.
Okay.
But I did get a bachelor's, also got a master's, but I ended up going in the other direction. Real estate, and administrative, things of that nature. So I've always, and I think now it's in our DNA, because it's just all down the line. I have so many entrepreneurs in our family, like so many. So yes, I think it's just always been there. Where it came from, I don't know, because my mother was an entrepreneur, my dad wasn't, but it just happened. So here we are.
Come on now.
So when did the switch occur, Sharon? When you decided, like, okay, business side, yes, but I can still take that and implement it into the real estate. Like, what sparked that interest?
So before I go there, sometimes people can always see in you what you don't see in yourself.
For sure.
I had a friend, she told me she worked for the county, and she said, and I used to go visit her, and she said, you sitting right there, I was sitting in her chair in her where she works at. She said, you sitting there, she said, you're gonna be an entrepreneur. She said, but I'm gonna always work, a 9 to 5. This is, she said, you are an entrepreneur. She knew that before I knew it.
Wow.
So to answer your question, when I used to work for, and I always say this because this is where I got my start at in real estate. I started working for public housing, and you might know my age if I say that, in 1997.
Okay.
1997. And the first 2 years I was in housing service, and then I got promoted like 4 times throughout my whole 10-year span there. And in 99, a friend of mine, we still friends, been friends since 3rd grade, we went to this real estate course where they show you how to get 10 properties a year, and wasn't even familiar with any of this flipping or any of this stuff, and they were just showing you how to do that. And the course cost, I think at that time, like $1,000. She actually paid for the course, and she gave me all the material. She said, you can have this. But it's strange because it wasn't until, now that was in 99.
I was about to say, so we gotta make sure that everyone understands the significance of time, because we
Yes.
got
For sure.
before the crash.
Yes.
It's two things in real estate. We know before the crash, after the crash. We say one to two.
Before. So this was before the crash. So, and that was in 1999 when she told me that. But in 2012, I was on my lunch break. I was working. I was on my lunch break, and it's just like I had an epiphany. It was like, this is what you're called to do. This is what you're called to do. So it's just been from there. So I end up in 2010. Before that, yes, I ended up getting some investment property then in 2010. Getting some investment property then, and then from there it's just been, this is my calling. Like, this is what I love to do. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's like I didn't know it, but it was always there. So yes.
Okay.
We had that one time. And I want to negate the fact that you also are big on mentorship.
Oh yeah.
And I want to get to that because in order to be a mentor, you have to go through some things.
Yes. Yes.
So let's talk about some of the obstacles that you went through when you first started real estate.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, let's talk about those, right?
So before you talking about before I was licensed or in the property management?
Let's talk about both. Let's talk about before you. So let's talk about before you got licensed, and then how after you got licensed, you know how
Okay.
what difference the difference between the two.
So I'll just start from when I started doing investment
Okay.
property. So the very first one wasn't that very well educated in what I was doing, just knew I was supposed to be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And so we purchased a home. It was me and a couple of my family members, and wasn't even fully aware of quitclaim deed. So I got on the quitclaim deed.
I'm sorry, the kid's not here, so you got to explain what a quitclaim deed
Okay.
is, so she knows.
Okay, a quitclaim deed is when you purchase a home and you pay cash for it and you do it. It's like a cloud on the title. So when you say cloud on title, you can't see any liens on there. So this particular property had a lien on there. So when you do that way, if you don't have, I just encourage you to get a title company if you want to go that way, to even pay them. It may cost a couple hundred, between
Right.
300. It's worth the
It's
pay.
worth the pay.
Yeah, so have that done, and then you can see what's on there. So if not, you inherit everything. So I inherited it. Thank God it wasn't a whole lot, but it was a few hundred. It was a few $1,000s. So you take on that debt yourself. So yeah, so that was like one of the first things I learned. And the attorney who did the paperwork for the buyer, for the seller, well, you signed these documents, you should have known, you know. And I'm like, okay, you know, I was trying to be tough. I'm like, hey, you know, you was wrong, but yeah.
You know what I always say to my kids, the less that hurt is the ones that you remember.
Oh yeah.
And paying all that money, I'm pretty sure that hurt.
Yes. So yeah, that was one. And then getting deeper and deeper into it when I started, because I ended up having how many properties did I have? I think I had like a total with us together. We had like a total of 9 or 10, and I was managing them myself. We was dealing with like just vendors, you know, contractors. You have to constantly, you know, fire contractors. But the worst thing that ever happened is actually in this book here. Is I had a fire in one of the properties, and the individuals who rented the property, they had just got out of a fire.
Okay.
And they said it was, wait, here's the thing. They said that it was the fire, which was true. The last fire that they had was from electrical.
Okay.
So they came, they found me through Red Cross, rented the house. They wasn't there but 30 days. I was actually about to evict them for non-payment of rent.
Wow, right off the bat?
30 days, yes. However, this particular day, you know, people call you from private calls, you don't answer.
Yes.
I just kept getting these private calls back to back to back. And I'm like, who is this calling me private? Finally got it. It was the detectives. It was the chief of the fire department.
Okay.
And it was 2 of them, a female and a male. So they said, we need to get here. You had a fire at your property. I'm like, huh? Got there. And so the tenants was trying to say that it was my fault. It was electrical.
Of course.
And like the chief and them said, they said, we don't come out here for electricals. We come out here because somebody started a fire. So come to find out, they had that was like their 4th fire. They had a child that played with matches.
Oh.
Yeah, so just going through that was just very, very tough. And I had just switched insurance company. So thank God the insurance had covered everything. Yeah, it was a nightmare. It was really a nightmare. And then they get kind of combative, so you know, saying it's your fault, and it was just. But I made it through. I made it through.
No, listen, and these are all lessons that you learned before you became an agent.
Those were before. Yes.
How to become an agent help you become a better investor?
Oh, just learning. Well, I knew a lot of the laws anyway from working in public housing. Yeah, you have to know all those tenant landlord laws. So that with the property management, that was like a piece of cake because I knew that I had did that for 10 years before I became an agent.
Right.
So, I mean, before I became an investor. So that part I knew. But become the agent, I just felt like, hey, you know, I know all this. I need to just go get my license. You know, just look at this from a different angle. Because real estate, I always tell people, it's not just cut and dry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways you can do this. You don't just have to be a real estate agent or realtor or you know whatever capacity you're in. It's a lot of things you can do, even with investment. So I felt like, hey, this is another avenue to build my brand and take it here. So that's why I became an agent. I was like, okay, I decided to just, you know, go to school. Matter of fact, my this was after I actually was laid off at my job. And my nephew, he said, he's deceased now, but he said, Auntie, you know, okay, I'll help you with your business. So he paid me to go to Hondros. And I went and got my license there, which I let it sit. I actually went to Hondros in 2012.
Okay.
And I let it sit. And I was like, you know what?
Wow.
I need to get my license because I've invested in this. I've invested. And the only reason why I let it sit because I think the very first time I took the test, we'll talk about that too. We can get into that. Well, we can talk about that now because that was kind of a hurdle too. The state, it was like, okay, it's no problem. I really didn't even study for the state. I would pass for the national one. And I'm like, what? So I put it on hold for a few years, and I was like, okay, I got to go back.
Yeah.
And struggled through that. But I was even questioning myself even about that national. Like, hey, I know I can do this. You know, I know this stuff. It's just the way they word it. So after I got my license, it was like, you know, no turning back.
Listen, I got beef with the state.
You mean the national or the state?
Yeah, the national.
Yes.
Yeah, the national. Because like you said, you take that test, it will make you question your intelligence. Like, I know I'm smart.
Yes. Oh, listen,
I know I'm smart.
Listen, I said the same. I said, now I know. I said I can master. I said I have a bachelor's degree and a master's. I know I can master this test. It's just that they switch like
the word,
one word, and they teach you in the crash course. Read. Read. And I'm like, what is going on?
Like racketeering, but that's another day. That's another subject for another day.
Yes. Hey, listen, I probably done paid for myself to be as many times I had to take that national. I done paid for myself.
Yeah, and you know what? This is what they don't tell agents. They don't tell them that first you got to, of course, you got to pay for the classes.
Yes.
You have to pay to actually apply to take the test.
Yes.
You have to pay for the test.
And every time you flip it, you gotta pay again.
And then you gotta pay your dues.
And if you don't pass both of them within that 12 months, you gotta redo them both all over. But thank God. I mean, the state, I was just like so confident, but that national, what is going on?
Yeah, no, listen. Listen, that's what they don't tell you about real estate. So don't look at the glamour. Don't let Sunset Boulevard, whatnot. Don't let that fool you. Because in order you want to make this money in real estate, you gotta put some money out there and whatnot. And shout out to Julius. This is one thing I'll give to Julius. He told me before I got my license. He said, listen, tell me you're an agent now, or tell me you about to be real estate. Refer them to me so that by the time you get your license, you already have a check waiting for you when you do your license and whatnot. And I had 2 checks waiting for me when I got licensed because I did just that and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And that way it helped me with my dues.
And it's definitely kudos to him because before I got my license, before I moved to Columbus when I was living in Cleveland, he allowed me to come through his training classes because I was going to get my license through him.
Yeah.
So he allowed me to come through his training classes to get all the training that I needed so I can get my license. But then that's when I ended up moving to Columbus.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I am so fascinated. How did you get your family to get together and buy real estate together? I can't even I don't know. Listen, it's so hard to come together and buy real estate with people all together. You got your family, and I know that was.
Yes. So because they believe in me, and I'm their aunt, but I'm like a mother to them. They, like my nephew, the one that passed away, and even the other one, his brother, they won't even work with anybody else but me. You know what I'm saying? So they actually they were actually the ones who paved the way to do this thing, you know? So it was like, okay, you got the experience, you have the knowledge, let's get some properties.
Yeah.
But now, this time and in this period now, when you talk about family, I don't do real estate with everybody. You know, I'm sorry, family, but you know, you have to pick and choose, even with clients, because you learn a lot along the way. You be so hungry, like, oh, I got a deal, I got my first deal, let me do this deal. But now, when you get to a place, it's like, okay, I have to pick and choose if I want to take this. You know, because it's. I'm pretty sure we'll get more deep in there. It's just a lot. It's a lot of layers that you have to peel. It's just not, like I said before, it's not cut and dry.
Cut and dry. Title episode. with that being said, 'cause, like, I know, and like, I'm not trying to make this all about my experience with them, but I want to talk about how, because when I talk to most agents, they talk about the horror stories, right? And I want to talk about being a woman in real estate, because I'll never forget when I first started. It was this. They talk about the story of this young lady who she was going on the listing, she was going to an appointment, and the young lady, she didn't know that was the young lady who she was taking an appointment was the young lady who was dating her ex or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Long story short, the young lady goes on this appointment. They go to their house, and this is why they tell you when you're going to listing, never have your back to the person.
Exactly.
Person hits her over the head repeatedly, and puts her in the basement. And long story short, she passed away.
Really?
Yes. And I still have to say, because in 2024, safety is the number one issue.
Yes.
And I just want to talk about your point of view for safety for women in real estate.
So, just to piggyback on what you said, they do tell you all these things. They tell you not to park in the driveway because somebody can block you in. Yeah. Always let them go in first. Like you said, so they can't keep you in there. But when it comes to safety, for me, I kind of scope the place first. Sometimes I would get there early and unlock the door and just let them tour by themselves. But also now in this time, I really don't even take clients who I don't know. I don't. I had someone call me, and it was a female, and I knew she was being untruthful. She said, "Oh, I was calling you. I want to see a house." And I said, "Well, where is it? Where do you want to see a house?" And she said, "I want to buy a house." And I said, "Where?" She said, "Downtown Cleveland." I said, "Well, I said, do you have a pre-approval?" "Oh, I'm paying cash." And then when I said, "Well, where do you want to live?" And then she said she just couldn't get it together. She couldn't tell me. So then I said, "Well, you know what? I tell you what, you send me your email, and then I'll email you, and then we'll go from there." So I never emailed her. And then she kept reaching out. No, what made me suspicious, I said, "Where did you get my information?" And she said, like on a Facebook or internet. I said, "No, because I didn't say to her, I just said to myself, I don't advertise there."
Wow.
You know, so I knew. And then she kept emailing me. She kept texting me. And then I finally told her, I said, "I can't take you on as a client. I'm sorry." So I knew it was something, you know.
Something, listen. And like, I know for me, unfortunately, I have my number everywhere.
And it's okay. They're going to call, you know, but you have to be able to discern, you know, if you should. It just goes back to, you don't need everybody as a client.
Tied up zone.
You don't need everybody as a client. You know, like I said, when you become an agent, you hungry. You want to get this client. You know, it even got to the point. I said, this is my motto. It takes the same amount of time to do a $50,000 deal as to do a $500,000 deal.
That's
the same amount of time, you know. So, you know, when they call and they want, you know, and I learned this, you know, you have the way you have people, how they want to, when they purchase a home, your time, which our time is very important too.
Sure.
So we're educating this. This is what we do for a living. So you also have to be mindful of your time. So you may get somebody, so it goes back to that $50,000 to that $500,000 deal. You know, what are you doing? You know, are we going to get straight to the point, or you want to see 20 houses and don't purchase one? So I've learned that with a lower amount, they may want to see 20 houses versus, you know, people, they know what they want. Here's my earnest money. Let's put the offer in. Let's do it. So you learn, you know.
And listen, so when I remember when I first started, you know, you could be a specialty. You could be a buyer's agent. You could be an agent that works with investors. You could be an agent that just does listings. In 2024, what do you feel like the future real estate is looking like? Because for a lot of people who don't know, was it effective August 17th or something like that?
Yeah, just went through.
Yeah, it just went through.
Yes.
Where, and I don't know if everyone's familiar, but as of August 17th, typically commissions would be 6%, right? 6% of the sale goes to the, you know, commission of the agents. One is a buyer and one is a seller, right? So 3% each, right? Going forward now, the seller can now decline to pay for that 3% of the buyer's agent, or 3% for the buyer's agent now. So what now? If let's say I'm agent and working with the buyer now has to supply the funds for that agent going forward. Which to me, and this is just me, this is just my opinion, I feel like that puts us as a people, black and brown people, at a disadvantage, because if I'm saving money for a down payment, I'm saving money for an expense, I'm saving all this money, the last thing I have money for is for an agent. So it's gonna put us at a disadvantage. Because now we're going in not having the proper representation. So now that means now I'm gonna be taking up top, no inspection, no all these things, all these precautions that typically an agent would advise you to do. But because I'm trying to save money, I'm gonna opt out for not paying for an agent.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's so new and it's still fresh, so it's one of the things you have to see where it's gonna go.
For sure.
But again, it just, for me, it goes back to your client, because when you, like you said, people, I'll just say like in certain income brackets, you know, certain income brackets, either you're not gonna have the money to pay your own agent. So do you build your agent money into your mortgage? Do you want to do that?
See, this is why this is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Sharon. That is genius.
Do you? I mean, and it's not that you can't, but do you want to do that?
Do you want
because
to do
guess
that?
what? Let's just say if I'm doing like one of the lowest deals, and I'm only going to make $3,000 on this deal. So, and my buyer client want to put that $3,000 into their mortgage. Now you add this $3,000 into the mortgage, which you're gonna be paying interest over for 30 years on this $3,000. So you done paid me for 30 years on this $3,000. So it's very, very challenging. So when we talk about those commissions, it's like there's no set commission. It never was.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about negotiating. However, you can still negotiate it. You can still negotiate with the seller if you want to leverage with your seller. If you're very good with marketing and talking and speaking and doing all those things, you can tell that seller, hey, listen, if you want to sell this house, you want me to send you one client or you want me to have you 10 clients? Let's open up the pool so we can have more clients to get through here. So this is what you may have to do. You may have to go ahead and pay that percentage. You know.
No, you're right. But I just know, you know, a lot of people. I want to keep all the money I can. Like, you know, the first sell, the FISBO seller and whatnot. I want to keep all my money. Okay.
And even with that, let's just say that, even with the buyer paying their own agent, what about when they want concessions for closing costs? So it's like.
So it's kind of like give or take type work.
Yeah, I mean, now on the flip side, I can see the seller probably saying, hey, I can give you some concessions for closing costs since I'm not paying a realtor fee. So we just have to see how this thing play out.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's out because Brittany's going through it right now.
For sure.
You want to share? Can you share?
Trying to buy a house. So mine's a little different though because I'm going through like a nonprofit. I don't know if you're familiar with NACA.
Yeah, I'm familiar with NACA.
Shout out NACA, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to NACA. They get you together. It's a process though. So
Okay, yeah. And they sign you an agent, right?
Yes, yep. So there's like they have to be NACA, you know, approved agents to be able to.
Yes. Just like the Divvy, I think they have to approve that's the rent with option to purchase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I figured that must be what it is. Yeah,
that
I think I
one's
have
rent.
heard of them because I was looking into that, but
You think yeah?
I am.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I was an agent for one of my cousins years ago, but I told her she didn't really need to go through that because she was already credit established. You know, everything was fine. But I just saw one of my cousins today, and he wants to do it. So I told him I'm gonna call him tomorrow. We're gonna try to see if he can.
okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and like I said, you've been doing this for a while. With interest rates high, right? Inventory scarce. Where do you see real estate going forward for the future, especially for first-time homeowners? Because us as a people, it literally, like I said, it hurts my heart, in all honesty, to see that grandma rents it, mom rents it. You like, I don't see a way for me to ever own a home because I've seen generations before me, no one owned a home before me.
Yeah. That's kind of like a tough. I'm not gonna say it's a tough question. It's like prediction because a lot of people always say, "Oh, I hear the market's gonna crash. I hear this, I hear that." So those are more so predictions. So for me, what I see right now, people are still buying, people are still selling.
I know that's right.
I mean, I see it all day long. I mean, and especially where I live, like all day long.
Oh yeah, Columbus is a hot market.
Oh yeah. It's just blowing up. So yes, you. So for me, I don't know. Will the interest rate go down? Only if they get, it's all about supply and demand. If they have to, but then if the interest rate go down, then the price is gonna go up.
Exactly. And you know what? That's been my argument with a lot of people. They're like, "Well, I think interest rates come down. You don't understand how this thing works."
Yes. Yes. But I had this lender in one of the CE trainings. He made a very good point, and he put it on the board. He said, "Would you purchase a home for $300,000 with a 7% interest rate, or purchase a home for let's just say $400,000 with a lower interest rate?" He said, "You might as well go with the one with because the price is lower versus the interest rate."
Right.
Like, that makes sense, So it's just all about how you see. If you see, even if you're going to live in your house, you have to see this this your first time going to purchase a home.
Correct.
You have to still see this as an investment.
Yes.
Come on now.
Exactly.
You have to see this as an investment.
Right.
I told you that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So, no matter what, I tell people the three biggest things you can ever do in your life is who you choose as your savior, who you marry, and the home you purchase. So, think about those things. It's still going to be an investment, even though you and your family going to live there. It's still going to be an investment. So just make the right investment.
That's good.
No, that's really
That's
good.
Yeah, because even like we were saying with the two different interest rates and a different price, that's still $100,000 more than this.
Right.
And you just got a higher interest rate.
That's
Most
right.
people, they're not very educated, so they just look at, this interest rate. This interest rate is so high. Of course we want a lower interest rate. When I had my house, I had a house built in 2005, and I had a very low interest rate. My interest rate was 3.850.
Oh, wow.
And it was fixed for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if we ever gonna get back to those days.
We're never
I
going to
know.
But it was groovy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was groovy.
I'm
So
sure.
yeah.
And this dude, I tell everybody, I remember my father, we were having a conversation about that. He was telling me about doing a rig administration. Interest rates were at 13%.
Yeah.
You're talking about double
I was gonna
digits.
say,
And and we was talking about how comparable to now, the difference is now you factor in inflation like a mug. Because now that same house that was, even in Israel is 13%, the house only going for 50,000 or something like that. Something crazy, real low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That same house now is worth 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
that.
Yes. I had a client, they purchased their home years ago, like single number digits. And then when they hired me to list their home, they sold it double digits. And it sold.
Oh, I'm sure.
Listen. And that, you know what? And I think that's the thing about a lot of people understand. I tell a lot of my people, when you purchase a home, if let's say you get approved for $150,000, do not look for a house for $150,000. Come in under that.
Yes.
And have room to make sure, because you already know if you put offer in, it's gonna be a bidding war.
Yes. The bidding war, yeah. And that kind of died down a little bit. I don't know here.
Listen, it's still.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it kind of died down a little bit, and that's what I was telling clients during that time. Like, we got to come in strong with some offers. And my friend, we've been friends for years, and I sold her home. She bought her home right before COVID. I tell you, when we get on the phone, she still talk about this to this day. Her home, the home that she wanted, it was on the market, and so the agent wasn't even responding back. So we went and I put my card on the door, my postcard and everything. So long story short, the seller got a new agent. So she said, "Sharon, that house is back on the market." So we called, and I was in Columbus, and she was here. So I called the agent. I said, "Hey, listen." She said, "Well, I'm gonna have an open house." She said, "I'm gonna have an open house, so your client can come on over." I said, "Okay, go." She said, "I'm going over there now." Went over there, looked at the
She's not
property.
playing.
She said, "It's a lot of people there." I said, "That's okay. You got to put in a strong offer." She had so long story short, she called me she said, the seller gonna make a decision on this day. I think it was like a Sunday. And she called me, she said, "Hey, your offer was accepted." She said, "We had 4 open houses and 39 offers. Your offer was the strongest offer." She still talk about. She just keep praising me to this day. She said, She give me so many referrals. I said, you gotta come. You can't when you get in this bidding war. You cannot ask a seller to pay your closing costs and going down. That's why would they do that when they can go over to this person?
Exactly.
And because she had saved money, she has a nice job, credit, everything. She had her down payment. We didn't ask for no concessions. We put that offer in and went through. And she been in her house about 3.5 years now. Yes.
And shout out to you, because I feel like, well, let me ask you this: what do you feel like as an agent, the biggest, not task, but the biggest responsibility we have as an agent? I feel like education, educating our
most
clients.
definitely. Yes.
Because and ones that like us.
Yes.
Because unfortunately we're not educated on just how to navigate real estate as a whole.
Yes.
So let me ask you, what has been your biggest challenge in educating clients on when it comes to real estate?
My biggest, I don't know about that one, because for me, I didn't know if I told you guys, part-time I'm a substitute teacher.
I see that.
So at my core, I'm an educator. So in this book here, this one is not for sale. This is a marketing tool that I give to sellers. This one is for sale. This is about my property management. This is about real estate. So in here I have some testimonies. And I promise you, when I read them, this book is old. I'm pretty sure I have some more at home. When I read, I was in tears, because they were saying everybody said the same thing. They don't know each other.
Right.
Like, you educated me, you showed me this, you taught me this. When I called, you was available. So I can't say I really ran into that problem yet. Not saying, and I'm pretty sure I have. I just can't think about it. But my thing is to educate. Well, I can say that if a person not willing to listen to what you telling them, then that can be like a big struggle.
For sure.
And so for me, because I have like a certain tolerance level, I won't waste a whole bunch of time.
Okay.
It's like you can give it's like you can take them to the fountain, but you can't make them drink the water. So if they not willing to listen, then and they may not be ready at that time, because not everybody is ready, And I can't say that because I had I'm not gonna say no names, but I had a family member, just wasn't ready, and I'm trying to educate, but it was just like, so I was like, okay.
No, listen. I was about to say, you hit right on the nose.
Yes.
Because like I feel like the biggest thing, and like I tell all my clients, like, down payments is an obstacle, credit, all that good stuff. These are obstacles, but the mindset is the biggest thing that we have to tackle, because if you're not ready to own a home, there's no point even going forward or whatnot.
And I know another big thing is like when somebody they say they want a home, but they come into the table and they don't have any money, and they want the seller to pay the closing costs and everything. And it's like, I've only seen it happen for 2 veteran clients I had, where that no money down, they had the money,
right,
but they end up not having to, put any money
Shout
down.
to VA loan.
Yes, they end up, the one, he put down the $5,000, but then when it came time to close, he got all that back. And then the other one, he got his money back too. When we went to closing, it was like I think he only had to pay $600. So the veterans, they take care of their people. But I've had clients who, want to purchase a home, mentally ready, thinking they're ready, but not truly ready because they don't financially not ready, and they want. And I think the misconception is, and I have to explain this all, and I have to tell this to lenders as well, not all lenders, some, that when you're talking to the client, don't tell them specifically that your agent can get the seller to pay closing costs. Because I have to tell them that the sellers don't have to.
They don't have to.
We can ask them, and we can approach it that way, but they don't have to. Because they can say, hey, why should I pay a closing cost for you? Again, because I have so many
other
options.
offers. Exactly.
Offers, so.
No, and like I said, you gotta, let's bring it down here.
It's tough. You have to really have some money. I tell people all the time, you have to have some money saved. Like, just have some money saved. Have some money saved. If not, you're not ready to purchase a home. You just it's just not gonna work like that. I know you want to go out and buy your new furniture when you get your house, but we have to have money saved to do this thing.
Absolutely. And I can see you be educated, because like you be educating me, so I can see that.
I tell people all the time, I say at my core, I'm an educator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, everything I do is all about educating people. You know, nobody would never say, Miss Sharon didn't tell me this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you everything.
And you're a straight shooter too, by the way.
Yeah. Read your contract. If it's something you don't understand, ask me.
Mhm.
You know, let's go over this together. What this means, what that means. You know, some people just sign. No, don't just sign. Read this.
Mhm.
You know, yeah.
So, and let's talk about you being an author, because everyone, you know, everybody's the author now. Everybody,
Mhm,
I wrote a short story. I'm an author now. I wrote a poem. I'm an author now. You got a book, book. I said book right here. And how did that come about? Because I see you got one. And by the way, I want to talk about this one because I love the fact you had it as a tool for marketing, and I don't think a lot of people understand why it's a powerful tool. By the way.
Yes.
So let's talk about this one. We'll get back to that one.
Okay. So this one here was based on my experience as being a property owner, my property management company. My property management company is named after my late grandmother. And like I said, me and my nephews, we got into this, and but I'm the sole owner of this. And I wrote this based on my experience, just some of the things I went through, just and like I said, it's in the book where I got stuck with like $10,000 worth of water bills from three different tenants. The fire, just in how some tenants, not all, they try to play on your intellect. You know, when it's time when you don't pay rent, you have to be evicted. But then now, and it's in the book.
Squatters.
It's like, no, thank God it had no
Oh,
squatters.
okay.
No, it's like, I'm gonna call the health department. Or your apartment ain't up to this. Well, if it's not up to this, you're just choosing to still live here. So it's just like the games that people play. So that's how I came up to that. Just thinking one day, and I had started writing, but it took me a while, not a long time, but one day I was just, the spirit of discernment was like, finish that book. And I slept at 5 o'clock in the morning finishing it.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was already finished. So I was on a podcast a few years ago. It was during COVID, and it was just a over the telephone podcast, a voice, and that's what I said. He asked me like, you know, what do you give people who want to purchase a book, who want to write a book? I tell people always just have you a tablet next to your bedside and a pen. And when you get those visions and those things that's nudging you, just write all down, and then you can put it into a book. Yeah.
So would you say this book is for those who think about getting a property management, or
Yes.
as
Yes,
the
most
do's,
definitely.
do's and don'ts?
Yes, this is mostly I wrote it with the intentions on for those who thinking about getting property. So not just more so thinking about getting property, because we went to this event before. There are people who inherited properties and they don't need them, they don't want them, they don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
So hey, this is for somebody like that. This is for somebody who's going into investment, who wants to have properties to hold versus flip.
Right.
And I mean, all the tools, and it was on my website where I got to redo my website, where I offer these trainings. So it's a 30, 60, or 90-day training.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just go over and you get all the documents that goes with this, like evictions. I mean, I learned how to do evictions. I mean, I learned that when I was working in public housing, but even with my own, when you own your own properties, and if it's in your business, you have to have an attorney. My attorney was on speed dial, you know. So that was, so it just this one came about just based on my experience. I ended up creating some tools for the tenants, like rent sustainability. Because what I found in doing property management and owning your own properties, sometimes you get people who want to live in a property for 1 year, but then they want to just move the next year, which is in the same community right around the corner. So have to teach them about how to sustain as a renter. Because like I said here as well, not everybody wants to own and not everybody wants to be a renter. So just, you know, teaching about that, teaching about home ownership, teaching about the importance of, I've seen people, because, you know, I do background checks, everything. I've seen people who make money, who can afford to live in these properties, even buy a property, but just even teaching about financial wealth and credit, the importance of credit. It's a thing here on credit lines and all that stuff. And of course, you good with that. I just got a little snippet in there because it's very important that you know your credit, because you making $100,000, but then your credit is not the greatest. So just kind of like created these workshops and seminars for the residents and attendants, and I just kind of talked about it. So this one came about just based on my life experience. This is a life experience book. This one here, if you want me to talk about this.
Yeah, I want to talk about the tool, because that's a powerful tool. Cause
Yes.
I know me, I have the ebooks. I just send it to them virtually.
Yeah, I have one of these ebooks too. Yeah, this is an e. So this one is, but I don't just send to anybody. This is, like I said, this is a marketing tool for sellers when I list their homes. So it helps them prepare for what to do to list your home. Declutter, curb appeal, just making it look nice. Some people, I'm gonna get some granite count. You don't have to do all that.
That's true.
You don't have to do all that. Just make it look decent, because when you have a clear, like a neutral color wall, it can make the room look a little bigger. Put up some nice pictures. Just kind of make it look nice. Just clean up and take down, personal pictures and things like that. So this just kind of talk about that. This book is not for sale. Like I said, it's a marketing tool. And this one, I actually, I use a ghostwriter for this one, and you use all it's a company, and you use all their materials, and you can change whatever you want to change in there and put your stuff in there. So, this is just basically for that.
But and then one thing I want to put emphasis on, just the importance of having something like that. Like I tell agents all the time, like I feel like to differentiate yourself between the next agent, you need something of that magnitude or whatnot. Because that separates you to the next agent. Like, what separates you? Well, I got a whole guide to help you sell your house. I'm going with you.
Yeah, and even on the back, you put like your picture instead of having a business card. Because most people, they throw business cards away. You have all your little information in here about, it talks about me, give you, people love to see. I know me, I love to read reviews. I love to see what somebody is doing. So, it's like one little whole pocket of information for that seller to say, hey, I want to go with you.
Yep, listen. You told me that, by the way.
Yes.
With that being said, okay, and I believe there's someone watching right now who's like, I want to get into real estate. I want to invest in real estate. What advice would you give that person who's like, but I don't know what the first step, I don't know what I need to do in order to invest in real estate in 2024? I
would say, first and foremost, the first advice is know if this is what you really want to do. Do I need to look in the camera? No, because I get people who have said to me, oh, I know how to do this. I want to do this. I like this. And so a lot of people look at the money. It's you have to have a passion for what you do. You have to have patience for what you do. And you definitely have to have compassion and love for what you do. Love what you do and do what you love. Because otherwise you just be spinning your wheels and waste your money. So that's the first thing I can tell you. Have a passion and know this is what you want to do. Because you got to be able to deal with people. I remember when I was in training, and they used to be like, one of the things they taught us in training, like, hey, when you have a husband and a wife, focus more on the wife than the husband.
That's a bar.
And I'm like, I used to be like, why? And then I remember them saying, when you, if you at one of the soccer games with your kids, don't tell your client that, just tell them you with another client. Why? But then you learn, and you start doing this job, you learn. So yeah, I would say have a passion. That's the first and foremost and most important. Have a passion for what you do, because you're going, anything you have a passion for, you're going to do it with grace. You're going to do it. You're going to do it with peace. You're going to do it just it's going to naturally come.
Yeah. Hit that button one time.
So what do you do? Because being in the real estate business, I know it's hectic, it's crazy, it's chaotic at times. So what do you do to kind of like balance out, something for you to keep yourself together?
Prioritize. I've always been I've always been very, very organized. I mean, when I worked in the public house, I got like 10 awards, and one of them was organized customer service. For me to find my peace and to find what I'm supposed to do is prioritize. Because if you're all over the place, you can kind of get messed up, because you got this person calling, that person calling, and shout out to my son, because he used to get so irritated, like, you act like you can't take my call when you're dealing with a client. Hey, these are legal binding contracts. I have to focus on what I'm doing. So shout out to you, son. So now you understand why when I'm busy, I have to take these clients, because it's very, very important. So have to prioritize and make sure everything is done so that I can also have peace and have balance with myself
sure.
too.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you'd be all over the place and you just be like, you know.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's
Okay.
good. That's a good way to answer.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: what do you feel like is the biggest misconception people have with being an entrepreneur, right? And then when you talk about you being that trying to become a broker, also we can talk about that too, because like a lot of people don't understand the difference between an agent and a broker. Let's talk about that while we're here. Why that's significant, and then as you elevate in the real estate game, why that's so important.
So for me, the reason why I want to be a broker is because I like to do things. I like to just cut out the middleman. I've just always been a person who, whatever I do, I don't like. I'm not gonna go rent me a spot. I'm gonna buy the spot.
Okay, I like that
what
flex
I'm
right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy the spot. I'm like serious. Like I don't know. It's just something in my spirit. It's just like I like to cut out the middleman. So even if I become a broker, I shouldn't say even if I do. When I do, I'm not trying to have agents all over me. I just want to do solo.
I'll tell you, I'm part of the gang, so
Yeah.
you ain't
Oh yeah. I mean, like maybe 1 or 2 or 3. You know, no more than 5. But I, solo. And this one guy inspired me to do that. Like I said, the buyer client that was a VA, the agent for the home, the listing for the seller. I'm sorry, kind of over the place. He was a coach for a university, and I said, "You do this by yourself?" He said, "Yeah, I don't have no agents up under me." I said, "I like that. I like that."
Wow.
But just always just want to cut out the middleman.
And the biggest reason why that commission split.
It's just like the light company. You got this third party company, so you got the illuminating company, you got your distribution, then you got your carrier. So everybody got to get paid, so they put it all on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I need to cut out the middleman and just come straight to me.
Come on,
Yeah.
that one time. So that leads me to the next question. What do you feel like the biggest misconception people have about being an entrepreneur?
Being an entrepreneur.
And then the part A1, the misconception people have about being a real estate agent.
I think those books, a real estate agent is kind of, a lot of people don't realize that a real estate agent is an entrepreneur.
No, you're right.
They think what broker you work for? We don't work for a broker.
We're independent contractors.
We're independent contractors. We just affiliate with a broker, and it tells you that on things like these are
It
not
really
employees.
does.
The state of Ohio is a real estate broker state, so you have to be affiliated. I think like in New York, they're a broker. No, North Carolina. They are already a broker state, and New York, yeah. So one of the biggest misconceptions I would personally think would be money. Again, like people think it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of hard work to get to the money.
That's right.
You have to build that pipeline, that rapport, that relationship with people to be able to trust you, to be able to represent them. So I think the biggest thing from what comes to my ear is like, I can make a lot of money being a real estate agent or entrepreneur, So that's one of the biggest misconceptions, which you definitely have to work harder. And as statistics tells that you don't really make no money in business until like after the third year, between the 3 to 5 years. So you put in, and I tell people all the time, the most money come in marketing dollars. So you're gonna be, if you want to market yourself, you spending some money, So yeah. So
Which segues into this commercial, by the way. Guys, if you're looking inside your podcast, the podcast can help you get them leads for your business.
yes,
Come holler at us, okay?
and we take referrals.
Awesome. Yes, we do. Sorry, I had to do that real quick. But with that being said, we talk about the past, talk about the present, talk about the future. We kind of segue into you trying to become a broker. What else does the future hold for you in your business?
The future hold for me in my business, what I'm trying to do now is just kind of teach and train my children, my grown adult children, so that they can, kind of run the business and do this thing. Even though they're not interested, like my 9-year-old granddaughter, she lives with me, and she just like, I think she's gonna be like the next entrepreneur because she watched me do everything. And so yeah, just the future just really holds, just trying to pass the legacy down to them, build. I mean, they have their own things going on too. My youngest daughter, she's a nanny. My other daughter, the one I told you, do the photos, she does a number of things. So, but just kind of, passing the legacy down.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we'll talk afterwards. I have some ideas.
Okay.
And,
yeah.
We'll talk afterwards. Okay. With that being said, everyone knows here at the Pull Experience, we like to talk about. We have these questions. These questions are dear to my heart because every answer is like a snowflake. Everyone is different, right?
Yes.
And when we created this podcast, when we first started this podcast in the city of Cleveland, the notion was that collaboration was non-existent, right? And I know you know you got dual citizens between here and Columbus or whatnot, but
Yes.
you know Cleveland. And like I said, the notion was that Cleveland's not a collaborative place. What do you feel like we can do to change a narrative that Cleveland's not a collaborative place?
That's a good question, and just looking at what you guys are doing right here, you already doing
We
it.
had that one time. Thank you, brother.
I mean, seriously, like you already doing. I've seen like different guests you have had on here, and how you what's this 249,
248.
248. I mean, like you already collaborating, and you just in your commercial, you just said if you want to know how to do a podcast, it starts right here at home. So I think that is a misconception. For real, because you're doing it, and there's so many other people doing it. So we just got to come together and support one another.
Let me hit that one time first. Thank you for that, by the
You're
way.
welcome. Yeah, you guys, you're doing it
We appreciate that. God is good.
all the time.
This one is my favorite hoodie.
All the time.
With that being said, who would you like to collaborate in the future? What entity, what corporation, what person would you like to collaborate in the future? Because we can see you on IGTV. I can see, I can see you being Hodjo's. They're gonna name the Hodjo to you. They don't call it.
Stop it.
You know what I'm saying?
Do I have to be here in Cleveland?
No, be wherever.
Man, and she probably not watching this. I mean,
Listen,
I
in my mind, in my mind, I believe everybody watches. So you know, listen.
well,
You
I
know.
got two.
Okay.
It's this lady in Columbus. I actually hit her up. She said she's been doing this for 30 years, and I caught her on the phone one day. But then I recently just sent her an email like, hey, can we do lunch? When I tell you, she is killing the game in real estate. I get her emails every time I turn around. She's listing a house every other day, $500,000, $1 million. I mean, she is doing it. So she told me when I did call her, she talked to me. I'm not trying to go with her broker. I'm not trying to leave. Just let's, it's all about mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Like let's sit down, let's talk, let's collab. Just show me. But she did tell me some little nuggets about marketing. And for me, I've always been a referral agent. I'm not a producing marketing agent, but I know now I have to be in times when it's slow. So I've closed every last one of my deals except for one on referrals only.
Wow.
Every last, I'm a referral agent. So I never really had to go out here and do producing. So yes, I would love to collaborate with her.
You can say her name because
I just know her first name is Delina.
Okay, Delina. Stop playing.
She's in Columbus. She's not just Columbus. She's all in Delaware County, Franklin County, Mansfield, Morrow County. It's a place called Ratner. I just found out about that. That's near Delaware County. Like, she's everywhere. She's just, and I'm telling you, she's not listing that $50,000 deal versus that she's doing, I've seen nothing less than $200,000. So, but my question was to her, how do you get these? But like she said, she's been doing this. But it's about your pipeline, about people you know and referrals. So yeah, I would love to collab with her. But I've always had this vision of being an agent for the sports. For the sports. So Cavaliers, if you're watching,
I know
you
y'all
need
watching.
an agent, I'm your girl.
Now listen, I know all my friends, we call our mind to get that going, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Because they come here, they have to find a house, they get traded. Yes, so I've always had that vision of doing that.
Okay, listen. We got to holler at you because, and then we got my man Nobles. Nobles, he's chaplain for put the good word in.
Okay.
Shout out to our network.
That's right.
So we got them connections and whatnot. Okay.
Yes.
That's good. So listen, we already can tell from the journey that you have given us that your legacy is just going to be out of this
phenomenal.
I hope so. Yes.
Out of this world. So when we speak of legacy, so Sharon, what would you like the legacy to be for you? What would you like the legacy to be for your business?
So I would say for me in the business, those are one because I am my business. I am my brand.
I am in a title episode.
Yes. I told him.
Yeah, you did.
I would like for it to be my core values.
Okay.
I would just, no matter what, I want the legacy to just continue with my core values and integrity. I pride myself on professionalism and integrity. That's pretty much just my integrity. I want it to be always to give back.
Yeah.
Always give back. That's very, very, very important to always give back.
Absolutely.
And to just be a voice in the wilderness, that the sound of my voice will echo.
That's good.
Throughout wherever I go, just leave that shadow. So those are 3 things I would like for my business legacy and myself.
And yourself.
Yes.
Okay. That's
Yes.
a nice way to collaborate too.
No, that's
Yes.
what's up. 'Cause even though you like what you like 4'9" or something like that.
I'm 5 feet.
You 5 feet? Okay,
5 feet.
you know you 5 feet.
And I don't have my heels on there, but 5 feet.
But I said that because like even though
Yes.
so you might be short in stature, like
Oh.
you know what I'm saying, like you cast a long shadow that you know what I'm
Oh.
saying. Like I said, so I want to give you a flower over here or whatnot.
Yes.
I remember before I even had my license, you were speaking life into me even back then. Like Brandon, just go ahead and do it. And I was just like, yo, like get this test. Like I gotta shape my game. I remember someone told me was a doctor that failed the test 8 times. A doctor.
Yeah.
Right? I failed 8 times though. But you
I felt more than that, the national.
listen.
And I'm not ashamed to say it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And you told me that, and I promise you was like, okay, Brandon, let's get back to it then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that.
Yes,
Because
you're
there will be no not your average agent without you.
Wow.
Yes. Well, thank you.
No,
I
absolutely.
appreciate it. And I didn't even know him. I just hit him up on Instagram.
She really did.
Oh.
I just hit him up because he posted something about not passing and struggling. That's just me.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
And I
So,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And been talking to him ever since.
Oh, we gang now.
Smart girl. Okay.
Yeah.
I love
And he got
that.
them licenses and kept
That's
encouraging
right.
him and kept mentoring him, and
Mm-hmm.
he got it.
He did. All right.
That's the education piece.
Listen. And like I said, I like the fact you a straight shooter. You like,
You can't give up.
yeah, no.
If that's your passion, that's what you want. I don't know if this is a saying that someone said. They said if you want to find the most gift, go to the cemetery. People die without using a gift. God give us all a gift. His gift to us is to give us a gift, and our gift is to Him to give back that gift that He gave you. If you can sing, sing. If you can dance, dance. You know what I'm saying? So you give that gift back.
Absolutely.
All right, Sharon. Listen, you've been giving us just motivation and inspiration throughout this whole entire episode, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we are not alone, that those that are watching, those that are listening have also been inspired and encouraged through you as well. So when we take everything that you've given us and maybe some things you haven't mentioned yet and bring it down to the very last question, which I like to call the challenge question, what are 3 takeaways someone should be able to gather from today's episode?
You be dropping them gems though.
One is to work on your craft at least 1 hour a day.
Ooh.
Work on your craft. 2, I just said that, never ever give up if this is what,
Come on.
Everything is not about what you want to do. Sometimes you're called to do it. It's not about your vocation, it's about your
I
call.
love you, Steve.
Never ever give up.
Steve be knowing.
Never ever give up. And 3, again, find somebody who's less fortunate and be a blessing to them.
Now, we need that a couple times for that.
Yes.
That's very much needed today in
Yes.
today's society.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
We need more of that now.
That's the bedrock principle from the Bible, the Bible. We have to give back, help those less fortunate.
My dyslexia acting, I'm like, what you say? Oh, shit. What was that?
Well, I had to say, I didn't know if I could say it on
Oh,
here because
man.
it's not a Christian
Please.
podcast, but I get to
My hoodie
preach.
sync got us together.
I get to preaching in here. See, that's a whole nother podcast. But yes, that's the bedrock. Helping somebody.
For sure.
Helping somebody.
Yeah, that's
Always.
good.
So even if it's just a little bit, it doesn't matter. Only man put on the quantity. We just look at the quality. Like it can be somebody just really struggling. Just give back, especially in your business. Find somebody that's less fortunate and give back.
That's good.
So listen, we can't thank you enough for once again coming. This interview been a long time coming, y'all. I think we started this joint. I was like, I gotta get Sharon on or whatnot.
Yeah, I think I've been on the books for like 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
I believe it.
No, listen.
I feel special.
Well, we appreciate you, and then you came over from Columbus, and like
Yes.
we want to thank you for coming and stopping in and sharing your wisdom with our audience and just blessing us with your presence today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
One last question, most important question of the whole interview: where can people learn more about you? Where can they book you? Where can they list with you? Where can they get all things, Sharon?
Okay, you can get all things. I do everything on Instagram, which is Mandy Properties, my Instagram. You can call me. I have 2 telephone numbers, which is Cleveland 216-704-9747, Columbus 614-407-6454. And on my Instagram, you can click that button to send me a message, email, or call.
And you know, you big business, we got 2 numbers, not 1 but 2.
2, yes. Yes.
So listen, guys, for all my people who are just like, where I get it from? Look, right here, we're watching this episode. Right below it is in the show notes. Is all her information. So I don't want to hear no excuses why you're not listening with her, why you're not getting the book. I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Yes.
Okay. We thank you so much. Come on,
You're
today.
welcome. I thank you for having me. I appreciate you. You guys are awesome.
Yes. So part 2, we might have to pull up to Columbus. We might have to go take this. We might have to go a road trip down to Columbus.
Wow. You didn't do your podcast down in Columbus. I got some people. I got some people lined up for you already.
No, don't. Listen.
Come on.
Y'all don't mind. Listen, this will go through my brain like all day. I'm like, how can we expand the podcast?
You can.
Listen, we gonna have a team in Columbus. We gonna pull up in Columbus, pull up wherever.
Yeah, you gonna have to do that for real. Like I'm gonna encourage you. I'm encourage y'all to do that.
Okay.
Get you a team. Send them down there. You can travel down there to do the photos. I have you some people lined up.
Oh, listen, y'all heard it. It's first. It's exclusive.
It's that collaboration.
Yes, it is. Come on now. All right, listen. So listen, y'all heard that. Episode 2 for that, we talked about that. 255, we'll be implementing it. So yes.
That's soon, huh?
Hey, listen.
How you be working?
Big vision.
You know they call me on camera. They call me Joe Jackson.
Yes,
y'all.
you do. Yes, you do. He lives up to that title.
Listen.
Wow.
Hey, listen. I we'll talk about. Listen, I read the book called Relentless, right? It's a great book because it's a book about how good, it's good, great, and unstoppable, right? And how the unstoppable are the Michael Jordans, the Dwayne Wades, the Kobe Bryants. And they talk about this one story in particular where Kobe Bryant, he had just won the finals. Very next day, he's back in the gym like he didn't win nothing.
Wow.
And it just goes to, and it talks about the degree of a person that the accolades is cool, but they just want to be great all the time. And I believe that the full experience, we have a certain level of excellence that we just bring to the podcast. Again, that's just me. Man, I'm biased.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But we cracking them out like No Limit did with the CDs back in the day.
Yes.
So shout out to the team. Which, by the way, we have Bills, guys. August 31st, guys. It is the event to break to end the summer. We are having a wine fest brought to you by our favorite wine. Come on now. I'll bring
Yes,
it.
No Wine and Dine is
Yes.
coming, you guys, August 31st. Again, we are having music, we are having food, we are having many vendors for you to be able to choose from, be able to more black vendors are going to be there, so you'll be able to kind of taste it, sample and sip and just have a good time. It's a great way to end the summer. You do not want to miss it. You do not want to be the one that is not there, because everybody's going to be there. So
you're going to be there.
make sure you guys get your tickets. Do not wait till the last minute. I promise. Get it now while the going is good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and MCing will be B Titty. If you guys remember B Titty for episode 13, Steve, he will be MCing also. Great food by the Ford Bistro.
That's right. So good eats, good drinks, and we're gonna have good entertainment with B Titty. So this is gonna be the event of the year. So y'all don't want to miss it. Okay. And then you guys do not want to miss my weekly episodes on my podcast, Beauty Game. Giving you guys great topics, whether it be relational, whether it be lifestyle, whether it be financial, and having great guests on. So maybe Sharon, I might have to, pull down you, Beauty Toe, take her on the road. And we basically just take those topics, expound on it, and we just really give you guys the good, bad, and ugly. So again, the overall goal is that there be a positive change for you, so you don't have to go through what we went through. So I cannot wait to see you guys there, and love you guys.
Guys, lastly, I want to ask you for a good favor. As you're looking at those show notes, do me a favor. Look at the amazing team we have to hear the Pillows Spirits. We have Steve with the videography. We have Bree editing, just phenomenal editing skills.
Yes.
We have Michelle, who is phenomenal in helping you take your business, follow up with guests, schedule guests, just all the things, the admin stuff that you don't want to do like I myself. And then we have Nakia, the greatest wine company in the world.
That's right.
And then you, as guys, you rock with us. You rock with Brittany, okay? Don't put up on me, okay? You heard view beauty totally like you guys view the public experience. And then lastly, guys, going forward, what I already know, but you pretty sure that you know, we have an amazing team, and now we are now showing you, yes, you, the person watching this and hearing this, how to start your own podcast. I've said since day one, podcast is new wave. Remember when you need a website for business? Remember when you need social media for business? Podcasting is now essential to now differentiate yourself in your field, to showcase your skill set, and to now create a whole different revenue stream. And use for marketing, use for content. It is a multifaceted vehicle for your business. Yes. And now we are now going to be able to not only show you, but do help you for it. Because a lot of people, they might have had the time to do it, so we can help you with that. Or you might not have the money. Okay, that's cool. We can also show you how to do that also. So, guys, do me a favor. Look at the show notes. Look, also coming up, guys, we will be having classes on that, and then we can do one-on-one consulting. We can also you can consult with someone on the team. So listen, guys, look at the show notes. Book today. Lastly, guys, I want to thank you for watching. 248, guys. Come on now. We're 2 away from 250. And that is not something that I want to take for granted. God is good. That's what I'm going to say today. Because not only almost to 250, but on top of that, we are at right there, 7.9 million views. We're at 16.5 thousand subscribers, and it just keeps growing and just keeps on letting me know that you guys like great stories like Sharon's, and we're doing God's work here.
Amen.
So we just want to thank you guys for once again subscribing, liking, and commenting, and we can't thank you guys enough. So guys, this is episode 248. We see you guys next time.